Namaste. Today I'm going to talk about going from egoless state to egoful state. And this is the state I'm experiencing. As of now, I did my meditation process. No ego, emptiness, no identification. Nobody's greater than me. Nobody is lesser than me. It's total emptiness. But slowly I'm going towards the egoful state. That's what I'm going to explain. And I will also explain where this ego is forming and kind of becoming big egoful state. Let's talk about ego first. Ego is nothing but identifying yourself as a greater or lesser or neutral. Just in general, if you identify with something that you are, then you have that ego within you, which is kind of making you identify with that particular sense of being, and when you don't identify yourself and become empty, then your ego kind of evaporates or disappears. And this is the state I've been experiencing, egoless state, to kind of egoful state. And I can easily jump from egoful state to egoless state because of my meditation practices. And this information is really, really important for you to understand about your ego. And my ego is generated from me, but I also understood it's generated from people I surround with. And mainly, like, the people that you surround with, most of them are identified and they have ego in their own way. And when you actually talk to other people, and you come close or you come in agreement with them, you are boosting each other's ego. And instead of going egoless, you're boosting your ego. I'll explain you what I'm saying. So, recently, when I'm talking to my friends, I can see my ego. And I can see my ego in such a way that it's expanding. It's kind of growing. And the only way I could identify that ego is usually when two people talk, unless I'm talking to a spiritual person, unless I'm talking to a person who is awakened or who has some knowledge of ego, who has some meditation practices. Most of my friends are not. I think I rarely find people like that. Maybe I've found like 2 or 3 people. Even when I visited meditation centers, I rarely found people who are true to the practices, who are egoless. I rarely find those kind of people or those kind of enlightened or in the path of enlightenment. It's hard to find those people. Most of the people that I talk to, my friends, are full of ego. Not to say that I don't have my own ego. I have my own ego, but I can notice my ego, how it's forming up. And mostly it forms up when you talk to people. And when you talk to people, mostly I've found is you either like to complain about something, or you like to signify how other people are doing wrong and how we can correct them. And per se, like you are three friends, right? And when two friends talk together, you talk about this third person. How can you improve this person, or how we are improved, and how can we improve that this other person? And this is the main conversation that goes on between friends, you know. Or else the ego can come up in such a way that, um, I'm doing good things, um, you know, and I'm projecting good to this fool. I'm doing very sincere things. I'm helping out people, um, and you project your own self. You project your own self identification in the form of ego, even though you're saying you're doing good or you're doing bad. When you identify yourself as something, it's ego. And the ego kind of signifies as you talk to other people. And that's what I figured out. And the egos like becomes huge or magnifies when I talk to some of my friends. And mostly mostly it signifies so much, and I feel like it's just waste of time talking to my friends, because it's kind of magnifying my ego. They're magnifying their ego, but they cannot understand. I cannot make them understand they're magnifying their ego, because they will come with their own justification uh, about what good they are doing. For example, if a person is giving a lot of money to the charity, right? And he comes and has a conversation with you, hey, I'm giving money to the charity, I'm doing good, see how good things I'm doing, um, definitely good things are going to come to me, you know. Now you cannot explain this person about ego, because he's identifying himself with the good that he's doing, which is also a part of ego. You kind of expanding your ego in that fashion, you know. Anything that you identify is ego, and once everything dissolves, you're egoless. And how can you explain this person? Because he is thinking that he's doing something great. He's helping out someone. He's giving the money to charity, right? And it's hard for me to explain people about ego, because I kind of realized this through my practices. And it's hard, and especially I figured out it's hard to explain it to my friends, because they are too much identification within themselves. There's too much ego within themselves for me to even explain um, them how you're magnifying your ego within yourself by identifying with different things. So that's why I make this video, so that some people can get it. Very few people can get this concept and idea of ego, how it's building up. And what I would say is, practice meditation, practice letting go of things. Practice, as you practice, you become kind of empty, egoless, not identifying with anything. And that's what I want to say, like, become egoless. It's not easy. Try meditation practices. Try to be empty, or in the state of emptiness, as you meditate every day in the morning, and let go of thoughts. Make your mind empty. Make yourself egoless. Hopefully this video helps you. Thank you, and have a blessed day.